What it is, y'all, we're back with the breakdown and the blue light. We're back with the dope or nope number or whatever at this point. I do really want to say thank you again. I believe that 21 Pilots breakdown just passed 3,000 views, which is crazy to me. And I just want to say a very heartfelt thanks to everyone that commented, liked, disliked. Honestly, seriously, thank you for forming an opinion. That made me feel very validated. I'm a little overwhelmed by that. Okay, full disclosure. Yes, I'm wearing the same outfit as the last video. Yes, I'm recording this directly after I recorded the last video. Like I said, I'm going on vacation. I will be gone for about a week and a half, and I really wanted to make sure I put these out. Okay, so we're doing 2 in a row. Telltale sign, empty can. All right. This is an artist that I have never heard of before. Well, 2 artists, I guess, Elderbrook and Rudimental. I was kind of just browsing around, which is something I don't really do much. And I ran across this. As soon as I heard a portion of the song, I stopped. So I'm like, this is cool. I want to break this down fresh. So the song is called Something About You. I don't know anything about it. Let's tear it apart together. Okay, let's see if it's dope or no. So Elderbrook, Rudimental, you're on the hot seat today. Let's see what you got. Thanks for stopping by again. Here we go.
So who would like to start this week's session? What about you, Kevin? Michael? Would you like to share with the group?
I miss the touch of morning sun, making silhouettes of us, way back when we had our paradise. But staying out all through the night, smoking, drinking, getting high. I was wrong and I apologize. Where did you go?
Very subtle intro, a pad, a low pass kick. Remember, a low pass is taking out a lot of the high frequencies, so you hear a lot of more the low bass frequencies, right? Kind of has that throbbing effect. Very tasteful effects on the vocal. A really beautiful, subtle, but it's definitely there. Reverb on the vocal. And there's a really interesting little element kind of fading in here. You can kind of hear it really high, like kind of a wailing sound.
I was wrong and I apologize. Where did you go? What can I do? I'm working on my problems, but I need you here to solve them. Where did you go?
That's a really cool sound. So you can achieve that, this main synthesizer.
I'm working on my problems.
You can achieve that by, actually, so similar to that low pass we were just talking about. It's a filter, is kind of what you call it. And if you get the filter to open up in a progression as you strike the note, it'll go from kind of a low pass up to let the frequencies through and then back down again. You kind of get that wub wobble kind of sound, and it sounds awesome here. It's a really high quality sound for sure. Like the resolution is really high, I guess you'd kind of say.
I'm working on my problems, but
Beautiful chords, and it's pretty spread. You can tell it's not coming straight down the middle. There's kind of elements in each ear.
I need you here to solve them.
Slight sub bass, I believe, and kick, and sort of a clap, a layered clap snare. That's very subtle. It's nothing too much.
What can I do? I'm working on my problems. problems, but I need
We still have that really high pad kind of wailing. It's really simple, but it's giving it just what it needs in the high register to round it out.
where did you go? What can I do?
And it kind of just fades in.
Know my problems, but I need
Beautiful
you
elements
to
all
do
together.
something. Where did you go?
And a very kind of EDM feel so far, and there's little specific elements with EDM that really give it its quality. You hear that clap right
But I need you here to do something. Where did you go?
right there, long reverb tail. It just gives it a little bit of transition, right?
You here to do something. Where did you go?
Really cool.
What should I say? I know that I can make the change, 'cause there's something about you.
All right, I want to hear that transition again. So it seems like we're going into a chorus here.
Change, 'cause there's something about you. I'm working on. There's something about
I believe there's a very subtle, throughout this entire verse, there's a really subtle that filter we were talking about. You can change the start point and the end point of it. So even though it's moving, you can have it move from one point to another and then progressively move it higher. So you're kind of brightening the sound over time. I believe that's kind of what's happening here.
something. Where did you go?
It's a darker feel in the beginning,
About you.
and then right before the chorus,
Change, 'cause
it sounds brighter to me.
there's something about you. Keeping me sober. I was shining in the moment, and I'm holding on to you. There's something about you. Keeping me sober. I was shining in the moment, and I'm holding on to you.
I've noticed that it seems like the sound quality, the vocal is really well recorded. It's clear. It's really well tuned. It sounds natural, but it's really crisp, really clean. And in this chorus, he's been more of a falsetto, and they're giving more body to that falsetto with spacing it out, kind of like we talked about last week, spacing that chorus in your headphones more to give it more body, to round it out, because you kind of need that sometimes with the falsetto head voice, right? You need to support it, and so that's working really well. And this pluck is just beautiful.
Keeping me sober. I was shining in the moment, and I'm holding on to you. There's something about you. That keeps waking me up when I'm low. There's something about you.
Really cool transition. They kind of held off until beat 2.
There's something about you.
A little far back, but we'll get there.
I was shining in the moment.
All right, yeah, so just a pad, just a pluck on this chorus. And then there's kind of the hook, drop, the second time around. For right now, vocal, beautiful. Pluck, beautiful. Nice pads to support in the background.
And I'm holding on to you. There's something about
And C, well, nice little transition there on beat on 4, I think. And then they kind of come in more on beat 2 of this little hook.
There's something about you.
1, 2. And that gives it a beautiful weighty transition.
That keeps waking me up when I'm low.
So finally we have a beat come in. We haven't heard this, this beat, a very standard beat.
That keeps waking me up when I'm low.
With the counter rhythm hi-hat, offbeat. And okay, a lot more is happening. There's way more layers of synthesizers. And what I'm hearing mostly is that low, almost brassy sound bass. It's a sawtooth bass it seems to be moving around, and he's kind of just adding elements here and there. Man, it's really hard to really pick out exactly what it's doing, because there's more of a sub bass in there, and then there's this other bass supporting it that's a lot brighter, that sawtooth that's kind of moving around, coming in and out. really cool. And then we have the hook melody. It's just an interesting sound. It again kind of reminds me of brass. It's not, but it has those qualities to it. And then they're still bringing in that something about you line a little further back in the mix, a little bit. Well, it's still very spaced out, but it ties everything together really well. This is a great hook. Repeat. And it sounds like we almost have a vocal layer mimicking this synthesizer lead. It sounds vocal. I don't know if it is or not. Hear it even higher. It almost sounds like a vocal to me, or some sort of processed synthesizer, maybe based off that vocal, something like that. Interesting, really cool. I can't get over the quality of these sounds. That's what grabbed my ear when I heard that part of it. I'm like, oh, those sounds are so well put together. I really couldn't wait to hear the rest of it, and it's kind of blowing my mind.
I miss the company we had back when I was still on track. Now I'm making my own paradise.
All right, so we have that.
Getting high, I was wrong. Where did you go?
All right, so on the pre-chorus, it's that same sound here on verse 2.
Still on track. Now I'm making my own paradise.
So, a lot of EDM production is about layering sounds, knowing when to take out layers and when to add layers, and how that ties into progressing the song forward. It's such an art. It really is. And so to progress the song, that sound that was on the pre-chorus the first time around is now in the verse 2. And that it's almost like, we're repeating, right? We're going back to a verse, but we're not going all the way back. We're just going back a little bit, and then we're going to move forward. It's like taking 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, right? It kind of gives you that impression.
Now the drink is tasting strange and the high isn't the same.
But I have noticed they don't have that high pad that we talked about in the first verse.
I'm still wrong and I apologize.
Again, no one would take out layers. Oh, here's interesting.
I'm still wrong and I apologize. Where'd you go?
Very cool transition.
The same.
Pull it out.
Oh,
right here. Yeah, so they pull out that main sound and have this almost fluty panning. It's going from one ear to the other.
Wrong and I apologize.
And they're just keeping the clap to tie it together, but oh man.
Where'd you go?
Heavily reverbed, you can hear it kind of dry out there after it ends.
Where'd you go?
That's awesome.
Working on my problems.
The hi-hats are doing a ton. I really feel that hi-hats are one of the most overlooked elements of all music, actually, because based on the pattern you're doing, the samples you choose, whether you're supporting the snare and the kick with it or you're countering, all that really plays into the feel of a song. It's not so much like it's a main element to the overall sound. It's the feel. It's the vibe that you get. The hi-hat really affects that. And so here, boom, da, 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 it's kind of giving it almost a shuffling effect.
I'm working on my problems, but I need you here to solve them. Where'd you go?
And I think the syncopation of the main synthesizer sound, that almost wobble sound, against the standard beat, and then that shuffling hi-hat works really well together.
What should I say?
And can I say, this video is freaking cool. I want to go back and just watch it again, because I'm kind of picking up what's going on. And it's really cool. Like this guy started dancing. It's an AA meeting almost, and like his dancing is him expressing himself, and he's kind of getting others to join him, and it's really cool. Cool falling siren almost of a sound there, way in the back. Transition into the chorus. All right, so very similar to chorus 1, but we have a deeper sub bass here, or maybe we just have more. Well, we have a sub bass. I don't know if it was there in the first chorus at all. It's all pretty much the same. We have that transitional falling siren, lower end, same pluck, same vocals. Have a couple high elements there. Filtering is such a huge part of EDM music. Again, it's happening here. The pluck sounds very warm, very and then it brightens up over the course of the chorus. So listen to it here. Beginning, warm. And then right here, see how it's so bright? That again is all helping us progress somewhere. It's all helping us move. Because if you just have something the same, like, you know, it just sounds tired, it sounds flat. That's new. So they kind of dropped out, I think, the two basses and maybe even a couple of those percussive hits. They just took out for a second. I don't think they did that the first time around. Again, I feel like the hi-hat's making this for me. It almost sounds like a shaker sample that they're using, or it's not a very bright hi-hat. It's down towards the. I mean, it's still in the high register, but it's definitely warmer than a lot of hi-hats could be. All right, tell me if I'm wrong. There's almost sounds like a telephone element way off to the left here. Right there. Something's there. And I think right there is the first time on this hook section they've doubled the vocals with an octave down. And that's leading it into, yeah, okay, wow. So they're going into like a break almost. And so that octave down on that section carries on through the break. So they've introduced it that, you know, it's not going to be a surprising new section. We're tying it together. The claps, keeping the energy. Okay, so we already talked about layering, knowing when to add layers, when to take them out. So this is a perfect example. The pads are there. We've taken out the main beat, but that clap is keeping the energy. And then it switches right here to a really filtered kick. The clap is gone, but now we have that pulsating kick to keep the energy with the pluck. So just knowing like when to pull out elements, when to add elements, to keep it moving, is such a big part of all production, EDM especially, and they're doing it just masterfully here. Some vocal production, nice. Just adding layers back in, opening up filters. We're all progressing, I'm assuming, to a last chorus. Again, they're using a lot of the same tricks over and over again, but it's tastefully done, and they're using it with different elements here and there, like opening the filter on this pluck. Nice and warm. Can't really feel that reverb. And then, as we continue, spacing, brightening. Super cool. Another element there. All right, so we had finally a snare roll. A really staple of EDM is that snare roll into the hook, the drop, whatever. And on this last section, that kind of layered vocal over the top of that lead synth, they come in with it right away. Again, last chorus, bring out the big guns. Snare. Awesome. Some counter melody with the vocal production. I friggin' love this video too. I think it's really cool. You know, this is not... It's like really subtle, but it's obviously sending some messages, and I love it. That was even better than I was hoping. Wow. I'm so happy I decided to do this one. It could have gone either way. Obviously, it could have been a nope, but that was a dope for sure. Man. Subtle. Subtle. That's what EDM should be, I think, in 2020.